Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. That's me, Krishi, and today we're going to be doing the second part of Python tutorial. So let's get into it. So this is the lesson one, which is strings. So there are total 10 lessons in this module, and we're going to cover that all in today's video. So strings. Strings are used when you want to print out text in Python, and this is a data type. It can be created by entering it into a single quotation or a double quotation. It's already given as an example. Now, if you use a single quotation or a double quotation, it doesn't create any effect on your output, but it's just on you what to use. So it's going to be hello world, just because a double quotation ends in the word world. So some of the characters cannot be directly included in the string like double quotes, because if you use them directly, then it is going to end up your string without even it's created. So characters like these must be escaped by placing a backslash before them. Now, for example, I'm telling this is my friends. So there is an apostrophe s which is used. The apostrophe can signify the end of the text, and your whole print statement is not going to be printed out. So that's how we use them here. It's given an example. If you're using the apostrophe s, then you have to add a backslash so that the computer is well known that that is not going to end up the whole print statement. Double quotations only need to be escaped in double quote strings, and this is true for the single quotations as well. So if it is any of them which you're using in the middle, then you're going to be using the backslash to state that it's not going to end up the print statement. It is also be used to escape tabs, arbitrary Unicode characters, and other various things. So here as well, we're using the apostrophe, which can be also said as a end to the statement. So we're going to be using the backslash. So here's the lesson complete. Let's go to the next one. The backslash n represents start of a new line. It can be used to create a string with multi-line output. Now here, if we do not have the new line thing, then it's going to print 1, 2, and 3 directly. But if you add the backslash and n, then it's going to have 1 in separate line, 2 in separate line, and 3 in the other line. So that's how this works. And backslash t represents a tab. So if you add it in the middle, there's going to be a space. That's going to give it a tab. Now, which of the following options result in exactly 2 lines? So we're going to have 2 lines. So this is the one which is going to do that, because there's one backslash and 2 words. New lines will automatically be added for strings that are created using 3 quotes. Now, this is what happens if you use 3 double quotations on each side at the starting and the end, then it's going to directly result in a new line in a multi-line code. So here's example. And this makes it easier to format long multi-line text. If you want to have a 20-line text which is separated, then you can use this one, because it's not so easy to add the backslash and n multiple times. How many lines will the following code output? This is grade S3 and high is also mentioned here. So we're going to have 4 lines. So here we completed this with this lesson, and now we're going to go to the next lesson. String operators. Now, as with integers or floats, string can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. There are few processes which are also done with the strings, which is concatenation. Concatenation adds the word. So for example, I've placed hello plus word. I'm sorry, hello plus word. Then it's going to add that both as hello word. So here's an example. It is going to print out spam and egg. So here as well, you can see that in the eggs, it's used a single quotation, and here it is a double quotation. So that's how it makes a difference, but the output is going to have the same. Even if you use string containing numbers, they're still going to be added as strings itself, not as integers. So add a string to a number produces an error, as even though they might look similar, but they are two different entities. So you can't add string to a number. So here we're not gonna add Python is awesome, because no other way makes sense to the statement. Strings can also be multiplied by integers. This produces a repeated version of the strings. Now, for example, I have multiplied hello. So hello with 3. So it's going to print out hello 3 times. And here in this one, it's multiplying 4 with a string 2. So it's going to print out 2 4 times. Strings cannot be multiplied with other strings. String can also not be multiplied by floats and floats with whole numbers. Now this is going to print 7 3 times. It's going to be 777. So let's go for the next one. Variables. Variables are used to store values. You can assign value to it, and then it's going to be stored and referred to in your further codes. So for example, in the game development program, you are going to use this to store the points of the player. To assign a variable, you're going to be using a single equal to. So here the username is assigned as James. In the given example, we assign string James to a user variable. Fill in the blanks to create a variable age and assign it a value of 42. So certain restrictions apply in regard to the characters that may be used in Python variables. The only characters that are allowed are letters, numbers, and underscores. Also, they can start with numbers not following the rules results in error. So this is a normal name, 7. 1, 2, 3, ABC is 7. So this is gonna be an error. Python is a case sensitive language, so you have two different things. Like the uppercase and lowercase are treated as two different things in Python. So we're gonna just take care of that. So which of this is a valid variable name for Python? So underscores are used as spaces in Python. So we're gonna use this one. Let's go to the next one. So how are we going to use the variables? We can use variables to perform many activities. You can just use them to add, subtract, or multiply, divide, and you can also use them in many other ways. So here are some examples. So as you can see, the variable stores its value throughout the program. The value remains the same. So here, what is the output of the last one? So x is equal to 7, and here we are doing x plus 3, which is 7 plus 3. So it's going to print out 10. That's how this works. What is the output of this code? It's going to print x, 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 because the value spam is x. Now, variables can be reassigned as many as times you want, but in Python, you don't have specific types. So you can assign a string to variable and later assign it to an integer. So there is nothing that you can change those things. You don't have to add the data type in the starting. That's a very good thing. And you can just change it. Like, for example, in first, if it was a string, then later on, you are just going to make it into an integer, and that's going to cause no problem. So drag the correct answer to output 12, and x plus what, I'm sorry, 5 plus what is 12, it's 7. So we're going to directly write 7 because we are not supposed to add the quotations, as you can see here, and equal to sign is already given. So let's go. Let's go to the next lesson for module 2. Taking user input is something very, very important in Python and any other language. To get input from the user in Python, you can use the word or the function input. So the input function prompts the user for input and returns what they enter as a string. So with the contexts which are automatically escaped. So x is equal to input, which is taken by the computer. Like if I write 7 in the input, so it's going to print out 7. Even if the user enters a number as an input, it is processed as a string. So anything the user inputs is a string. Now take the blank to print out the user input, assign it to variable and then output it. So text is going to be equal to input and then we're going to be printing text. Input. The input statement need to be followed by parentheses because parentheses are just indicating towards an input which is going to be from the user. We can also do such things over here. Name is equal to input, enter your name, and this whole thing will be, this enter your name is going to be printed out to one side, and after this the name is going to be automatically printed, which is given by the user. So here we can see an example for concatenating. The prompt message helps us to clarify what input the program has asked for. So you can use the prompt messages as well. Now fill in the blanks to prompt the user with a message and assign it the value input. And the variable is name. So name input, what is your name? That's how it works. Let's just go to the second last lesson for this module. So we went to the wrong one. Now, let's assume that we want to take the age of the user as an input. We know that input uses only strings as we have told earlier. Now to convert it into a number, we're going to use the integer function. So we're going to add int and in the parentheses, you're going to write input and again a parentheses. So this is going to take the input in a number. Now similarly, in order to convert it into a string, then you're going to use string, str and parentheses. And this is better when you're using it into concatenation or many such things. Now, so z is equal to integer x plus y. So we're going to make it 6 because they are adding up. That's how it works. Now you can use the input multiple times wherever you want in a particular code. So when the input function executes, the program flow stops until a user enters a value. So it's important for the user to enter a value or else the execution of the program is going to stop. Now fill in the blanks to produce a valid code which takes the values of x and y variables from the input and outputs their sum. So we're going to write input. I'm going to write integer because both of them are going to be integer. And this is going to print out x plus y. And that's how it works. We're done with this. Now we're going to go to the last lesson for this video. Now, in-place operators allow you to write a code like x is equal to x plus 3, where x value is already given. Now, this is gonna help you change the values of something. The same thing is possible with other operators such as minus, multiplication, the dividing, and the modulo. Now, Here in x plus is equal to 3, we are changing the value of x, and later the value of x is going to be 5 because we added 3 to it. Now, x should be multiplied with 3. So it's going to be giving 12 because it's 4. Now, these operators can be used on other types other than numbers as well as strings. So, spam and x plus is equal to x. So it's going to print out spam x. In-place operators can be found usually for numerical operations. So these are all the numerical operations on which in-place operators are valid. What is the result of this code? It's going to print a 3 times because it's multiplying it with 3. The walrus operator. It allows you to assign a value to a variable without an expression, including variables that do not even exist. Now, let's just suppose we want to take an integer from the user, assign it to a variable number, and output it. That's how we've done it in a very basic form. The walrus operator accomplishes these operations at once. So in the walrus operator, you don't need to do this work separately. Now here, first we have declared a number, we've taken the input, and then we have printed it out. But if you're using the walrus, you can just print the whole thing without even declaring it into the print operation. The walrus makes code more readable and can be useful in many situations. You can just use this for a better work. So we're going to have a colon and an equal to sign for the walrus. So yeah, guys, that's all for today's video. If you like the video, just like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and press the notification bell. The project is already on my channel, and you can click the link in the description box to go to it. Thank you. Bye.